Hello and welcome to the Gone Traveling Podcast. This is episode 24. We are looking at the BKT EuroCup, the 2025-26 season, and we have 8 teams left. The eighth finals have been completed. A couple of really good games. So we have our final 8 teams: Cedevita, Cluj, Trento, and Turk Telekom all advance. And yeah, I guess as far as sorry, with me as always, Marco Munno, me being David Hein, Hein News, taking the charge Substack. Marco Munno, communication specialist and collaborator with La Giornale Tipo. Marco, how you doing?
Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's been a fun start for the playoffs. So yeah, we're excited.
Yes, 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 yes. So I'm actually at an airport right now, heading to Bologna for the next gen as we speak. So if you hear sounds in the background, it's for me at the airport. I was gonna say before I introduce us, as far as picking goes, it looks like I did a better job on that. Turk Telecom, we um Turk Telecom, I got you had Manresa. Cluj, you had Buducnost. We both had Cedevita, and neither of us had Trento. So let's start right there. Um, and we'll get to the semifinals later on. Sorry, the quarterfinals matchups, and let you know who's playing who. But so before in our preview episode, I said, you know, do you really want to bet against Devontae Jones? And I said, I guess I want to. And again, Devontae Jones, just amazing. 38 points, 6 assists, 38 PIR. Trento take down Reyer in all Italian battle in overtime. Jones scores 11 of his team's 13 points in the extra session. Matas Jogela with 15 points, 12 rebounds. DJ Stewart, 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. But this was all about a certain Devontae Jones that has been amazing all season. So I figured all Italian battle. Let's let the Italian have a first crack at it.
Yes, we said in the last episode that probably all the guys that will be around Jones will not be enough and will pay the less experience into this kind of battles. And but at the beginning, Trento was really scoring from everywhere. So they started the game dominating Venice, like 18-4 plus 14 into half of the first half of the first quarter. So all the plans that you have for the game, like go along and uh, let your experience wait, was really vanished because Trento was really running like with double energy against Venice. And then Venice changed the game with Tessitori going in. That brings experience, that brings defense, and the game was kind of tight along the second quarter when Venice went more or less at the more or less tie, and the two teams went to the third quarter fearing to lose. So a lot of error from both sides, and they at the end went to overtime, and the error were more on the Venice side that shot crucial free throws and misses crucial free throws. Instead, on the other side, Jones was really um, solid into the beginning when Venice was getting up and seems like they are dictating the pace and trying to win much before the overtime, and then and the over at the overtime was really Venice was really unable to stop him and also stop all the advantages that he provides to his team also with the initiative. And seems like when he was deciding to score, it was from outside or it was driving to the basket, he was really willing and able to do so in any occasion. And so Trento, with much energy, captured a very deserved win.
Yeah, you know, um, we've been talking about Trento all year and just how impressed they are, and I feel really good about my MVP pick with Devontae Jones. I don't to be okay. There's the Jared Harper argument, but I mean, you know, there's so much more on that team that to say that Jared Harper's the MVP, you know, I understand the argument, but as far as like most valuable player, this team would be lost without Devontae Jones. So, and then also, I also think that Massimo Cancellieri also deserves Coach of the Year with all the rookies, all the teenagers that he has in that lineup on that team, and that he's able to do this. I mean, they have a massive battle coming up. Obviously, we'll talk briefly about it later, but you know, I mean, uh, you know, it's just impressive, and I really, you know, I didn't want to go against Devontae Jones, and next week I don't think anybody can really seriously go against go with Devontae Jones, but we'll get to that as well. Let's move on to one of the reasons it's kind of equalized because of Toronto's proximity was one of the reasons why a lot of people were picking Reyer was home court advantage. But you know what? Reyer being 8-1 at home in the regular season. But you know what? Who cares about 8-1 home records, right? Let's move on to our next game. Buducnost was 8-1 at home, and Cluj. Actually, Cluj had lost their last five on the road, and said, "You know what? Who cares? We're Cluj. We're going to run our butts off." And an amazing performance by Iverson Molinar. I did a feature on him for the website a couple of weeks ago about his Panamanian roots. Go check it out. Just absolutely incredible. 34 points, 39 PIR. You know, we talk so much about Fats Russell, Mitch Creek, Dusan Militic, and I said, you know, there's going to have to be somebody else, and obviously, Iverson Molinar definitely showed up, and one of the reasons why I picked them was because I think that they're just going to continue to play. They're just going to continue to work to function offensively. And you were kind of the impression that the defense of Buducnost would be able to slow them down, and they weren't. They weren't. You know, you had Fats Russell, who also had 20 points, 7 assists. Mitch Creek had 13 points, and it was just too much offense. Buducnost had made it a 5-point game, you know, early in the fourth quarter, but again, that just offensive tenacity, you know, just to continue to go at it and go at it and go at it, was just too much. And you know, it's a thrilling Cluj team that, you know, if their offense is going, they're not turning the ball over very much, which is something that they've struggled with much of the year. They only committed 11 turnovers and they shot almost 39% on 3-pointers. It's you know, that there's a lot there that gives you the reason why that Cluj won this game.
Yeah, and also they distributed the offense because at the beginning it was Crick and Russell that was really dictating the pace of the whole game and putting Cluj up, and to say that they are not willing to refuse. And on the second half of the game, Molinar was really uh, doing more than expected. And also not really expected was the defensive effort. That was the reason in which we think that Cluj can lose games, and along the season they lose games because of the defense, because the offense was every time delivering.
They
and
ranked 17th of 20 teams in points allowed, 94. So they gave up 80.
and they had 10 steals, and also they were really aggressive on the ball and on the passing lanes at the beginning of the game. when they were kind of saying the statement of the game, like we're here to fight. And when Russell started to score and they went to double figure advantage, it seems like they were the home team, dictating all the pace, and they never turned back, also giving a great effort defensively. And when you score 100 points, yeah, you have to
Pretty good
do
chances
a
of
bit
winning.
of a defense, and then yeah, you got really a great chance, and that's what they did.
Um, okay. Next game was Turk Telekom 98-81 victors over Manresa. Manresa's first journey in the Euro Cup is over, and the 2023 finalists are into the quarterfinals. 59-48 in the first half. Just kind of watching this and just, I was just wondering how many points they're going to keep scoring. And 59 in the first half was the highest, most points they've scored ever in a game in the first half. And it was just a balanced effort, 98 points. You had five players in double figures, Michael DeVoe, Chris Bankston, both with 16. I'll let you go on Turk Telecom.
Yeah, I said about this game that if they would go and be closer at the end
Remind
of the
everybody,
game.
you did pick Manresa, so
Yeah, yeah, Epic Marisa, and the reason was like if the two teams at the end of the game will be kind of tied, maybe Marisa at the advantage because they won a lot of games, being better at crunch time. But basically, Turk Telecom didn't allow the game to be closer at the end because they were really starting strong and they put all their chances on physicality. So they scored a lot, but in any matchup they put it to they were showing physicality. So they didn't shoot a three into the first half of the first quarter, and every time they're going on the low post or even on the pick and rolls, the guard chooses to drive to the basket, and also to put their physique on defense on any matchup. When you see Maresa driving, they always seems like they were going against a wall. So that's the key that they decided uh, to give to the match, and it was winning. And also when Maresa was trying uh, be- to recover. And in the second half, it was too late because Turk Telecom was really able to score a lot with a lot of people, and anybody was really giving energy and physicality. So it was so much, and at the end, it was not a close game, and Turk Telecom was really, really the first, deserving to punch their ticket
when I
for the
when I
quarterfinals.
yeah, sorry. My question last week, but in the preview was, can Ellie Brooks, Augustine Ubal do enough to help Ratin Obasan? And Obasan was obviously limited, only 7 points in 15 minutes. Didn't start the game. Ellie Brooks, 16 points. Ubal 10 and 5. Reyes, you didn't have, when you don't have your leader, it doesn't make it any easier. So congratulations out to Turkey and Turk Telecom. That means we have three teams in the quarterfinals. Three teams from Turkish teams in the quarterfinals. We'll get to those very soon. Last game that we want to talk about, the last game that was on our bill, was the game between Cedevita and Chemnitz. We both picked Cedevita, and we're both like, yeah, this is probably the most convincing, the easiest one, and Chemnitz said, you know what, we're not gonna mess around here. We're here for a reason. We've been tough all season, and they were there. They were there the entire first half. They played a really strong first half, led at the break by 3 points. Coach said afterwards probably should have been more than 3 points. Probably agree. Cedevita really couldn't do very much offensively, but then Cedevita really threw down the hammer in the third quarter. Just 7 points for Chemnitz in the third quarter. Zero baskets in the final 6 minutes of the quarter. The lead jumped to 10 points to start the fourth. And then Chemnitz, showed, hey, this is why we're here. They hit a couple of 3-pointers, made it a 2-point game. Free throws just killed them. They made only 8 of 20 free throws. That's 40%. 40% on your 3-pointers, 8 of 20 in a game decided by 8 points. That's 12 free throws missed. And the big time players made big time plays down the stretch, and Cedevita win, go back to back quarterfinals. And so DJ Stewart 14, Amaja Gibson 12, Andre Nikolic 11 points. And they're in the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals. Your thoughts?
Well, when we were talking about this game on the previews, we said that Cedevita, the best advantage of Cedevita was the deep and the contribution that the bench can give to the game, and maybe Cedevita as the best player on his team that is starting from the bench any game, and Chemnitz was really able to dictate the pace basically on all the first and the second quarter, and the only times that Cedevita was really getting in front or not letting Chemnitz go away. The instrumental guy was Nikolic with 2 triples. That was really the example of someone who can provide more than the starting five. So he scored the triple that gave the first advantage to Cedevita basically at the end of the first quarter. He also scored the triple that at the end of the second quarter gives only 3 point advantage to Chemnitz instead of 6. And so Cedevita was really, not pretty sure that you can uh, defeat Chemnitz if they would be at the F going to rest, being with 6 point advantage from Chemnitz. Also because Chemnitz was really on advantage at Cedevita running to recover. And when the game shift, basically Cedevita has had more energy into the third quarter, letting Chemnitz score only 7 points, but the game keeps to go closer and closer, and only on the last 2 minutes and a half of the third quarter of the fourth quarter that was the difference. So I think Chemnitz gave it all and was really able nearly to win the game, even if the ultimate difference was 8 points. It's a
I mean,
bit of a lie.
yeah. I think that Manresa and Chemnitz both can really be proud about what they did this season. Their first one in EuroCup, and Chemnitz is a massive step. They won the FIBA Europe Cup the 2 years ago, 3 years, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and so it's a big step. They went up to the Champions League last year, and now made the step up to the Euro 2 years ago. So made the jump up now to EuroCup, and gave Cedevita a really strong team, a really good fight for a long time. So congrats to going to Germany and Chemnitz. So we have our final 8 teams. We have our quarterfinals. I didn't tell Marco that we're going to go in depth, and so I don't really want to put him on the spot. And we could kind of just talk generally about it. So the games will be there. There's 2 quarterfinals on Tuesday, March 17th. Those are Bahcesehir and Cluj. and the other one is Borg hosting Cedevita. And then on Wednesday, March 18th, we have Besiktas against Trento and Jerusalem against Turk Telekom. So the semifinal matchups would be Bahcesehir Cluj winner against Besiktas Trento winner. So the games, and then Borg Cedevita versus Jerusalem, Turk Telekom. So the games on one game on Tuesday, the winner of that will play one of the winners of the game on Wednesday. So it's not the winners of Tuesday's games play against each other, but it's the winner of it's separate. So don't go into next week's games thinking, okay, Tuesday's winners play against each other again, and Wednesday's teams play against each other. Let's start just really briefly then, also with Bahcesehir Cluj. We've seen that twice, and Bahcesehir won both games, 90 98-90 in Cluj, and 90 and 84-72 in Turkey. But those games were in round 1 and round 10. So Bahcesehir's win, the second win, was back in mid-December, which obviously feels like 10 years ago already. Your thoughts, just initial thoughts. We don't have to go in depth, but because I didn't really look at stats or anything like that. But your initial thoughts on Bahcesehir and Cluj.
Well, it's obvious that all the teams that were waiting for the winners being already qualified to the quarterfinals are the favorites on paper. But you have to go into any matchup, and Cluj was really expected to give defensive effort to in order to have a chance to win. And against Buducnost, they were really able to do that. So even if into the regular season they lost both games, they allowed a lot of points scored by Bahcesehir, and they showed like last week when they were play, it will be last week, that they can contain also some offense and start in already providing their kind of pace. So they have to do another defensive effort to stop Bahcesehir. But Bahcesehir is not really the same team that won any game at the beginning of the season. So maybe Cluj can put another one, and also Bahcesehir is obviously the favorite. But I'm not really sure that there will be like one-sided game.
Yeah, obviously the Bahcesehir's ability to slow down Cluj's offense is really the deciding factor in this game. Um, and yeah, it's going to be a fun one. And I, you think about all of the great players that all the great players that Bahcesehir have. Hey, we're gonna get Malachi Flynn against Fats Russell, and that and Creek against like whatever Kavanaugh, great matchups, and so it's gonna be really fun. And I think that I think Cluj will go into this game super confident after going to a tough place to play, much tougher than Istanbul, than Bahcesehir's Istanbul, because this is a young club, and it doesn't have the cult following, the rowdy fans that, it's not Besiktas. So it's not going to be a hard road game from a atmosphere standpoint. So am I brave enough to pick Cluj? I'm really close, um, especially knowing they had the week off, Bahcesehir, okay, at this point in the season, I don't think an extra week off necessarily means that much. And Cluj, come back from the FIBA break, have a massive game, and they're super sharp right now. And the fact that they got that road win to end that road losing streak is important too. Again, I don't know if I'm brave enough, and we're not picking teams. Fortunately, I think for both of us. But so all right, let's go to the other game on Tuesday. That is Bourges against Cedevita. Um, this is going to be. Man, I don't even know where to start with this game. It just seems like the the whether or not Darius McGee is able to really kind of do his thing is going to kind of be important in this game. If Cedevita can somehow slow down McGee, Malari he'll help a little bit, but McGee I think is the crucial part, and how that dynamic duo of Anamakoka and Bolchgath, how they're able to disturb things offensively for Cedevita. To me, this seems more like if Bourges is able to play their game, they'll win this game than Cedevita being able to play their style of game. I think this matters more if Bourges is able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, I think so. And also, we saw on the eight finals that Cedevita can really struggle at times to score, and Burge was on the hill on defense from the beginning of the season. So I think Cedevita have to be better at scoring, and if Burge do their game about being great on defense. They can put up a win also because but Cedevita showed that they got a lot of experience um, to match up with kind everybody. So I think it's the most interesting matchup, and we will see what will happen. But I think if Birch would be tied on defense as they are from the beginning of the season, they can go on and win this thing.
Besiktas Trento. We're going to Wednesday, March 18th. What do you do with Trento? Trento, so these teams have faced each other again twice, just like Bahcesehir and Cluj. They were in the group together, Besiktas, Trento. Besiktas won in round 7 by 14 points at home, undefeated at home, 8-1 at home, like Raya. Uh, and Trento won. Trento won back in late January by 13 points, round 16, 87-74. So they know Devontae Jones and those kids know they can beat Besiktas. They did it 6 weeks ago. They're in the quarterfinals for the first time in playoffs for the first time in a decade. And they're only one victory from going back to the semifinals from 10 years ago. 10-year anniversary, Besiktas, EuroLeague aspirants. And, in my eyes, I think your eyes as well, the favorites to win this whole thing. Do you bet against Mr. Devontae Jones again?
uh,
Tread
uh,
carefully, my friend.
Yeah, thing is that Trento puts up a win against Besiktas not so much time ago. So I think they're going into this game with no pressure, knowing that they already did a great season and they can put up a win if things get lucky, but because they already did, but obviously Besiktas is the favorite, so and I think they need to make a statement and say like, okay, we're not fearing um, teams that are not on the semifinal level. And I think with Trento they had the occasion to prove to everybody that maybe they can go into the semifinal with much. Um with the largest victory, and I think they want to go there in that way. So they have to win and win convincingly if Trent allows it.
Um, Trento beating Reyer surprised me. If Trento beat Besiktas, it'll shock me. It would really shock me. So yeah. let's move on to the last game, and then we will call it a day. Jerusalem against Turk Telekom. You know, Jerusalem is they're a machine, but they're a machine that has some glitches here and there. And for me, if Jerusalem are engaged defensively, then Turk Telekom have no chance because they're going to score points, and Turk Telekom is going to have to really execute. They're going to have to really execute offensively. Turk Telekom have the number one defense in the league. Jerusalem has the number one defense in the league. Jerusalem has the number 2 offense in the league. I still don't know that Turk Telekom is going to will be able to slow down Jerusalem. For me, like I said, this is all about Jerusalem's engagement at the defensive end in slowing down an offense that isn't spectacular. They have some amazingly talented veteran players. Does Turk Telekom, but so does Jerusalem. So for me, it would be a real surprise if Turk Telekom can get this win. Turk Telekom really, they were really excited and thrilled about being able to play games at home. And obviously now that's not going to happen. This is obviously going to be at a neutral venue. Is that going to be in, that's going to be in Belgrade at the Ranko Cedevita Sports Hall. So, but Jerusalem are totally used to that. They've been playing road games, home and road games, home games on the road with no fans for quite a while. So it's not going to be anything new. Your thoughts?
I think if we think to this game before the Eighthfinals, we were thinking that maybe Jerusalem has a great advantage against the Turk Telecom that was not really, that seems like going to and going out of the games. But the performance that they had against Manresa, like we are getting focused and more focused when the things matter the most. I think that puts the game into at least more with the two teams more equal than before. So I still think that Jerusalem is a favorite, but Turk Telecom can show that they can click. Okay, they will not score any time 59 points on the beginning of the game, but I'm waiting for that matchup because I think the difference is lower than I was thinking at the end of the regular season. We will see also. We got Jerusalem that can click themselves, and so showing that as they did on the half of the regular season, basically that they are the favorite or the second team. So we will see. I think Jerusalem is has still the advantage, but I don't know how much advantage they have.
I'll say this, that Jerusalem is a little bit tougher, stronger than Manresa. So I don't think Jerusalem is saying, "Ooh, look what they did! Look what Turk Telekom did against Manresa. We better be worried." I understand your point. Okay. All right. We've talked about the games surprisingly in decent amount of depth without having prepared for it and being pretty early in the day on Thursday. Marco, really appreciate you jumping on early for me so that we can get this out to everybody. Why don't you let everybody know where they can find you, and then we'll get on.
Yeah, you can find me on any social media, but mostly on X as Marco E. Munno, Munno.
And I am at Hein News, HEINNEWS on Twitter, and Mr. Hein News on Instagram. I don't really throw that one out there, but because I'm not very active on there, but why not? Okay, Marco, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Should be some fun games next week, and we'll talk to you then. Enjoy.